103.8.
Good afternoon, welcome back to the programme. Once again, 4001 is the text message number if you'd like to join in the conversation today with your thoughts and comments. The phone number is 423 1010. I'm joined this afternoon by Carlo. Good afternoon once again to you, Carlo.
Hi,
and we first off are going to be discussing an article we found which was printed in the Digital Production Middle East. Headline reading, 40% of Arab students support stronger censorship. In fact, it was data from the American University of Beirut, and the report Youth in the Arab World also revealed illegal downloading is rife in the Middle East, with 80% of respondents admitting they had never purchased a product online despite downloading at least one. So we want to get some thoughts from you. Do you support censorship
of online
content? Let's just get specific here. We're talking about online content. Do you support censorship of online content? Do you feel within your capacity, either through a business sense or through just purely socially looking at things on the internet, that you've been restricted by censorship? 4001, join in. We'd like to see if you have in fact ever been affected by censorship online. We're actually joined also on the phone by Fadel Al-Tadi, who is COO of Newsgroup and managing partner of Socialise. A very good afternoon to you, Fadel. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you.
First off, Fadel, perhaps I could just get you to describe a little bit about what your position there is with the company Newsgroup and what you actually do.
Well, Newsgroup is a media intelligence holding company, so we basically have a number of subsidiaries related to media intelligence, media monitoring, and different media-related services in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. One of which is Socialise, as you mentioned, which specializes in social media monitoring and analysis specifically. So what we do is we basically research. It's kind of like companies that do polls and surveys offline to gauge consumer sentiment, either about a particular brand or a company or a certain political issue. Whatever your objective is, we do the same, but we do it online without actually surveying. Rather, we monitor social media platforms, including blogs and social networks, forums, etc. And we get the information that you need, whether you're an FMCG, you're a political entity, a government organization, whatever your objective is, basically Socialise can help you find the information you're looking for.
Right. And what are some of your thoughts on this article and the fact that 40% of Arab students are supporting stronger censorship? Are you seeing that as a current trend, possibly, through your work?
I actually can't say that we are, to be frank. Not through Media Watch, which is a media monitoring agency on traditional media, and not through Socialise either. I mean, I think the majority of our customers remain commercial ones, so we don't deal with the censorship issue on a daily basis. But from what we're looking at, we do have a number of government organizations as clients, and we look at the sentiment in the UAE, in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt. We do a report that actually talks about the top issues youth are talking about across the Middle East on a regular basis across social media platforms. And the general trend, while it's not specifically talking about censorship, the general trend seems to be moving much more towards, I would call it freedom of speech, freedom of press, etc. So I'm surprised to see these results, actually, to be honest.
So am I, yeah.
Is there possibly a confusion with the use of the word censorship? Are these people actually saying what we want is clever editing?
I think that's a very, actually, a valid point, and I was thinking of the same. I think there might be a bit of a confusion on the cultural side of censorship. So you will find that a lot of internet users and youth across the region could be supportive of some form of censorship to preserve cultural identity, to preserve maybe religious values and morals, etc. in the region. But that's not really typically what censorship is before, at least in our region, it tends to be, or at least it started mainly for political reasons, and then it has diversified into other purposes as well. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I think what they could be talking about is more kind of a governing body to govern what's posted out there, which has been a continuous problem on the internet since day one, and now is an increasing problem on social media as well. There isn't really a governing body making sure that everything that's posted online is accurate, is reliable, etc., and that tends to create problems in some cases. So I would imagine that there is support for some kind of body like that, that was being discussed at the Arab Bloggers Forum here in the UAE a couple of months ago, that there needs to be some kind of body that ensures people aren't just posting things that are misleading.
Yeah.
But censorship in itself, I mean, if you look at the number of VPN connections in the region, for example, and how many people are actively trying to bypass the proxies in the region continuously, it won't really correlate to the results of these surveys.
Really? So, I'm wondering if you've seen, as you did mention, that you do monitor these social networking sites, that you've seen perhaps a surge in these sites and away from, or possibly even to the detriment of the reliable so-called news sources, registered news sources. You know, obviously citizen journalism, and people are really now getting their news and information on whatever it may be, from music, entertainment to actually hardcore news, from social media sites as opposed to the actual registered, so to speak, well-known news sources.
Sure. Well, definitely. I mean, we've seen a huge surge. Definitely. I mean, the usage has increased dramatically. It's in the triple digits across the region. I would say, though, in terms of news, we're still seeing that news still originates from the traditional news sources. So whether it's newspapers or TV channels mainly. Depending on which country you're looking at, TV tends to be more popular in some places. So, for example, rather than watching Al Jazeera, people will go to the Al Jazeera website and get their news from there. The trend that's happening, though, is people are sourcing their news from there and then posting it on another social media site, and that's where the conversation starts.
Right.
So the danger happens here that I can go to Al Jazeera, read a piece of news, post it on my blog, someone else comments on that news, and then a day later there's 100 different comments, and the user number 101 gets his news or gets his opinion from the comments rather than from the original story.
Right,
so
right.
You'll find stories that over a few days, over the course of a few days, actually change completely. And people don't tend to go back and look at the original source and see what is the true story.
How easy is it to control that type of diary posting? Who would you be? Who would be in charge of it? Would it be a government? Would you were talking earlier on about setting somebody up, a body.
Sure. I think it's counterproductive, frankly, to try to control it. I think the key is for news sources all over the region to engage social media themselves. And that's really the key. You cannot have one governing body and you lose credibility, and you go into the traditional problems that we've had in the region for the past decades. I think the key is for every newspaper, for every magazine, for every satellite channel that has a website and that posts their news there, to engage their consumers themselves. So rather than Al Jazeera simply posting their news on their website, they need to go and look at what people are posting on their website, what comments are being put there, how their news is being reacted to on different social media websites, and engage people themselves. So it's the responsibility of every news provider rather than...
So it goes back to editing. You've got to have an editor out there. The originator of the information has got to be able to kind of, scan what's going on, what's being said, clean it up, and bring it back to where it was if it's gone off in a tangent that it shouldn't have gone.
Sure.
Off
Well,
to.
there are moderators now. I mean, that's a job opening that I can guarantee you will start seeing advertised more and more over the coming years. There are moderators on sites. But once again, I don't think it's a matter of preventing inaccurate information from being posted. That's you're going against the tide there. You can't really do that on the long term. But the key is for you to have credible people online that are posting the accurate information. So no matter what I write, if it's inaccurate, someone else from the news source is always there to correct me. And,
okay.
And users will tend to listen to the authorities that have published the news in the first place. I mean, at the end of the day, they're not here to disqualify what news sources are saying. So if they're actively engaging consumers on a continuous basis, I think that's really the key. And we're seeing that successfully with major brands all over the world. Starbucks is a great example. There are a number of different great examples of brands using social media to really engage their audience. You had the Obama campaign a couple of years ago, arguably the most successful social media campaign in the world. So you have a number of different real success stories of doing so.
All right. Thank you so much for your comments this afternoon. Fadel Al-Tadi, COO of News Group and Managing Partner of Socialise. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you, Fadel.
Thank you,
All the
Fadel.
best.
Thank you.
Bye.